chill.
Hello there, gang, and welcome to Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Let's talk about the 100 most wanted Marvel Legends. Can you believe it was a year and a half ago since I made my last top 100 video, and we have actually got 25% of those requested figures. Kind of. So for this new list, I went to the Model Behaviour Facebook group and I asked everyone, guys, what do you most want to see? And that is how I've cultivated this new list. But before we go into that, let's take a look at those 25 figures that we asked for, and lo and behold, Hasbro were kind enough to give us. Kind of. We had Agony, Banshee, Doctor Strange, Daredevil, Hammerhead, High Evolutionary, Howard the Duck, Jigsaw, Mr. Negative, Null, Longshot, Mojo, Maggot, Mephisto, kind of, Molecule Man, Despair, Psycho Man, Riot, Robbie Reyes, see Mephisto, Toad, Avalanche, US Agent, and Baron Zemo. So 25% of the figures we asked for, we actually got. Not a bad ratio, I think, but let's see what are the current top 100 most wanted Marvel Legends. So we're going to go through these in alphabetical order, and coming in first, we have A-Bomb, Rick Jones's gamma-irradiated alter ego. Then, keeping it in the Hulk family, we have 616 Abomination. We have that glorious Gamerverse Baff who is crying out to have some fins put on the side of his head. Next up is Absorbing Man. We've got the Build-A-Figure, but man, he's showing his age now. Big old ball hips and very awkward to pose. Plus, where are the morphing legs? We want some brickwork on the feet and just some more fun, interesting ways that you can show his powers. So, yeah, bring on Absorbing Man. From the Age of Apocalypse, we have the weird, twisty, duct tape horseman, Abyss. A popular one that people want to see remade is Agent Venom. The original Agent Venom is actually really cool, lovely accessories and whatnot, but he's got the ball hips and he just kind of shows his age a little bit. So a newer, more zhuzhed up version I think would make people very happy. Then we got a whole group people have been asking for, and that is the Agents of Atlas. I'm not that familiar with this team, however it does feature a monkey with a machine gun, so yeah, that gets my vote. One who I think we will be seeing quite soon is Airwalker. This dude is a herald of Galactus, and more to the point, one of the most ridiculously toyetic, bonkers looking characters I've seen in a long time. With the Roman centurion kind of look to him, with the skirt and the helmet and all that jazz. He would be so much fun to see in action figure form. Bring it on. Over to the X-Men and Angel. I had to stop myself there. I was going to say Archangel, but specifically Feather-Winged Angel has got a lot of requests. One thing that Hasbro are terrible for is taking forever to build up their teams, and no team represents that better than the original Thunderbolts. So come on, Hasbro, for the love of goodness, will you give us an Atlas? Kind of a funny one, but massively requested is Aunt May. I guess it makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't you want a grey-haired old lady in your display? Well, there's a few reasons why you wouldn't. However, when she's Aunt May, one of the most important Spider-Man characters out there, yeah, I think we can justify that. And now we have Baron von Strucker. I can't do German accents, but Hasbro can do great characters in that line, such as Zemo and the Red Skull. Baron Strucker, he would fit in perfectly with those guys. Here's a newer version of an older character. Some folks have been asking for a Captain Britain version of Betsy Braddock. For me, I'm an old school Betsy Braddock / Psylocke person. However, her Captain Britain costume, it does look really cool. A massively requested one is Beyonder. It is amazing we haven't got this guy yet because he's not even that elaborate of a design. I have no doubt they have him waiting in the wings. Next year, I'm guessing we're going to be seeing him. One for whom there was a lot of speculation with regards to the HasLab is Blackheart. We never got an announcement, and it doesn't look like we're going to be getting anything. So hopefully they had maybe some designs, maybe they were feeling kind of confident about hitting various tiers, and they've got a prototype Blackheart back there, behind the sofa that they're not showing us. So maybe next year we'll get to see him. A big D-list Spider-Man villain, I think D-list is fair, that I would love to see is Calypso. Maybe pair her up with a new Kraven in a 2-pack. I shouldn't be encouraging them to do more 2-packs, but there we are. Either way, by some form or fashion, give us Calypso. Who's Callisto? Oh, the Morlock lady. No, we've got her. Give us Calypso. This is a fun one. Not that we necessarily need more Venoms, but we always need more Venoms, especially if it is a blue Capcom style Venom. We're just getting Capcom War Machine. Give us the Capcom Venom with the big Venom shield and some cool gloopy accessories. I would love to see that. What I'm always requesting is 90s Spider-Man frenemy antagonist, Cardiac. This dude has such a cool, fun, toyetic look. I'd love to see him on the shelf. And another Spider-Man villain who is massively overdue is the final member of our Maximum Carnage display, Carrion. There are rumors that Hasbro are going to be moving into Generation X type characters, and with that being the case, a lot of people are asking for Chamber. A classic Spidey foe in desperate need of a new version is Chameleon. Give us, for me personally, I'd love Smoking Jacket Chameleon with a bunch of morphing heads. That would be wicked. A lot of people want the animated Chameleon. He'd be kind of fun too. Either way, just give us a version of the shape-changing bad guy. This year we got the beautiful 20th anniversary Captain America, so what would look great with him would be a classic version of Bucky. She made her debut in Doctor Strange The Multiverse of Madness this year. Now would be a great time for us to get a 616 version of Clea. Let's get some big chunky mechs on the list with a 616 classic version of Crimson Dynamo. This is a deep cut just for me here. I want to see Cyber Hobgoblin straight out of the Clone Saga. We've got a couple of versions of Hobgoblin now. Give us one that looks like he's been dipped in tinfoil. That would make me really happy. We're getting very cosmic with our Marvel Legends at the moment, so why not go even further with a Death figure? We've got that glorious deluxe Thanos. He needs to be paired up with his skeletal Lady Love. So come on, Hasbro, that would be a fun one to see. Rumors abound. We're going to be seeing some Starjammers soon, so why not give us one of the antagonists from the Shi'ar, Deathbird? One that I've been wanting for the longest time now is Death's Head. We've got Death's Head too, who looks badass, but the original, he would be so much fun to have on the shelf. We are big time building out the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants now, but one who is conspicuous by her absence is Destiny. Back to the Hulk characters now. Where oh where is the green-haired psychiatrist, the incredible Doc Samson? We're in the midst of October, it's the spooky season, so that gives me another good excuse to ask for Dracula. An oldie but a goodie from the Toy Biz days, Dragon Man. This dude is still one of the most expensive old school figures to try and pick up, so come on Hasbro, make all of our lives a bit easier, give us a new Dragon Man. There are some figures who just lend themselves to being an action figure because they look mean, toyetic, and just kind of badass, and the Executioner, yeah, he's one of those. Speaking earlier about completing teams, oh my goodness Hasbro, give us a Feral. Come on, we've been asking for it for years now. Give us the Feral Wolfie Lady. I know we had the head swap Danny Moonstone one, that doesn't count. You know what we're asking for. We're just about to get the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends 3-pack drop. That's all well and good. But where is our leather jacket, sunglasses wearing, badass looking 90s Firestar? That's the one I want. And speaking earlier about the Thunderbolts, we've got to get ourselves a fixer. One of these days, they're going to make it happen, but how much Legend's going to cost by the time that guy comes out? A whole team here now is the Future Foundation. We've got the negative version of the Spider-Man from the Future Foundation. Thanks for that. But we need the Fantastic Four and the proper non-stealth version of Spider-Man 2. Put those in there, and Spider-Man is in the Fantastic Four when it's the Future Foundation. I know that, so don't bother pointing it out. A civilian character now, well, not really a civilian, but a human character, General Ross. Again, building out that Hulk display. A lot of people seem to be Hulk fans. Got a lot of requests for Hulk figures this year. So yes, give us the big mustachioed General Ross. He would look really fun, actually. I could see that working. A big time bad guy now with the power to control gravity. Of course it is Graviton. Gravitron? Graviton. I'm going to go with Graviton. I don't think there's an R in there. We'll find out. A character who's being used more and more now on cosmic type stories and interplanetary stuff. We've got Hulkling. He's someone who I've really loved to watch the evolution of the character since he first appeared. Just a member of the Young Avengers at first. Now like full-on king with crossover stories of the Kree and the Skrulls and all that kind of thing. He's really cool. And with his morphing abilities as well, that would make a wicked action figure. We're always looking for more symbiotes here, and now that we can complete the Life Foundation, that means we have all the ingredients for Hybrid. Time to get cosmic-y and time travel-y and generally a little bit confusing with Immortus. Kang is like a big money player now, even in the MCU, so it would be great to have this other version in Immortus. Ironheart is about to start making waves in the MCU, and one of last year's best, I think, little sleeper figures was Ironheart. She was great, so a new version of her in her more colourful, unique, modern costume, that would be wicked. Sticking with the Young Avengers, give us an Iron Lad. Again, a nice little Kang tie-in there as well, with his slightly Centurion Iron Man looking kind of costume. That would be great. We're going to build out that whole set of Young Avengers. Don't worry, we're getting to the rest. Isaiah Bradley. He's in the MCU now. He's getting a bit more prominence in the mainstream. Now is the time for a classic 616 action figure. Hasbro have shown that they're not afraid to go into the hellish, devilish type creatures, even though we might not get them. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that we can't ask for Hellstorm, Damien Hellstorm, a classic ooky spooky kooky kind of character. We're going to be getting more Ghost Rider figures, even if they're not HasLabs, so why not throw in some more demonic characters like Damien? This is a great year for collecting cosmic characters, so why not get Jack of Hearts? When I first saw this guy on a trading card in the mid-90s, no idea who he was, but I just thought that is a wicked looking costume. I really, really dig it. To see that in full-on Marvel Legends form, that would be awesome. A huge one for me personally is, of course, the 90s Jackal. How do you know it's the 90s? Because he's wearing a black leather trench coat. The Crow made it popular and the Matrix just took it to another level. And in the middle, we had the Jackal, who was basically just a furry green Joker. But that doesn't matter. He was intrinsic to my childhood, therefore I am demanding we get our 90s Jackal. Hasbro recently revealed their beautiful looking Dark Phoenix retro figure, which of course means, come on guys, that 2-pack is still out there and crazy expensive. Give us the classic Cyclops to go with her. Another Thunderbolt and a fun character who is crying out for that new female buck that they're using, Jolt. Another young superhero and a member of the New Warriors. Give us a 90s version of Justice. A very highly requested one from the Savage Land, it's gotta be Kazar. We got Null this year, and he does look awesome, but how about giving us some army-building symbiote monsters? Granted, I think they all had at least 6 limbs, so that would be quite an expensive army builder, but dang it, they would look wicked. A funny one that someone requested that I wanted to just include to illustrate a bit of a problem we seem to be getting is someone said, oh, we need new versions of the original Life Foundation symbiotes. Now that we're getting Riot and Agony, we need updated versions of Scream and Lasher on better bodies. And it's like, this is the problem. It's taking so long to build teams, but by the time the last ones come out, we need new versions of the original ones. This just never ends. From the pages of Ghost Rider, another great spooky antagonist, we need Lilith. I said that we need more grey-haired old ladies in our collection, and dang it, I meant it, because we want to see Madam Web. A dude who is certainly the flavour of the month in the spooky season, coming off of his fantastic one-shot on Disney+, we need a new version of Man-Wolf. Just realised, that's a different Man-Wolf. A classic Spider-Man character, and the son of J. Jonah Jameson, we need to get a Man-Wolf. One that might be unlikely in this day and age, but we still keep asking for, especially because the old Toy Biz one was fantastic, we need a new Mandarin. Building out the 90s X-Men collection last year, I asked for, and we got Maggot. You're welcome. No, I know I have no influence. But now that we've got Maggot, we need another one who joined the team at that time. We need Marrow. A fun Spider-Man villain and another Goblin, because I love my Goblins. They're just fun to see on the shelf. I'd love to see from Brand New Day. Whoa, remember that storyline? We need Menace. Another original Thunderbolt to round out the team, who by the time we get, we'll be asking for new versions of Songbird and Citizen V, because that's the way it works. But we need a new Meteorite. One who I would love to see as a big, terrifying builder-figure is Modern Ultron. With multiple limbs, crackle effects, and just terrifying looks, this guy would be awesome. Fantastic Four are getting their due. We've got Psycho Man, High Evolutionary, but come on! Give us Mole Man and a couple of Moloids. A really fun cosmic Avengers-style character, give us the bald-headed, bikini-wearing Moondragon. building out more of the New Warriors, and with a bit of a tie-in to the MCU with Wakanda Forever and Namor and Atlantis, it would be fantastic to get a classic 90s Namorita. One who is probably way down on the priority list, but I would love to see, is Marvel's own rip-off version of Todd McFarlane's Spawn. It is Nightwatch. From the pages of X-Men, the bizarre, weird, bonkers, but really toyetic pair of Nanny and Orphan Maker. Bolstering out the Young Avengers, and a character who is definitely way overdue for a new action figure, is Patriot. 4 for the price of 1 here, a lot of people asking for the classic kiddie superhero team, Power Pack. Now this is an interesting one I wanted to include. Someone suggested a new Punisher, and hey, we've had a few Punishers, but a new Punisher with butterfly joints. Why? So he can hold his rifle properly. That actually makes a lot of sense. I would love to see a classic retro style Punisher with that kind of look. That would be awesome. Some more X-Men villains now, and ones you could army build if you wanted to, is the Purifiers with William Stryker. Of course, that's a whole different subsection that you could totally build out, because I know you X-Men army builders. You're a bonkers bunch, and there are people who would buy a lot of those guys. I know a few of them. Rachel Summers in her cool red spiky costume, she would look awesome with some great Phoenix-y style flame effects as well. Yeah, that would look terrific. Another character who I just think has an awesome, slightly ridiculous, but very badass 90s kind of look is Scourge. This is one that it's bonkers we still haven't gotten, because we keep on asking for it, is classic purple and white She-Hulk. We've got green She-Hulk in ripped clothes, we've got grey She-Hulk in ripped clothes, we've got MCU She-Hulk, who does look terrific, but where is our classic 616 She-Hulk? A big one for me, and another symbiote, is Sleeper. This guy has such a cool, unique look for a symbiote, who very often, I will admit, can start to look a bit similar. This guy, very different, with the smoky kind of look to his effects, and the green neon colors. So cool. Give us a little Sleeper cat as well. That would be adorable. I'd buy 2. 4 for the price of 1 here, the Slingers. What a great random 90s superhero team with a unique backstory, all being alter egos of Spider-Man, who then the costumes were taken up by other people. I think that's cool, and all 4 of them have unusual, unique, different kind of looks. I think Dusk is the only one who's like, well, that's just a person in a black body stocking. So besides her, the other 3, those are really toyetic, and together, they'd be a great set. Speaking of Spider-Man, we're still asking for him, Alistair Smythe, the Spider Slayer. A character who I think is very much in need of a new version is Spider-Woman. Over the last few years, we've had 3 different Silks. And I'm not mad about that, she's a cool character. But we are still asking for a new version of good old red and yellow Spider-Woman. So Hasbro, help us out. Spider-Man 2099. This is one that's a little bit kind of, because they did give us the retro one, but man, that old body it's on is just kind of, I don't know, rubbish now. So a new Spider-Man 2099 with actual sculpted details on there, like you've really gone to effort to make him look awesome, because he can do. Because it's such a cool costume. Plus, he's going to be in the new Across the Spider-Verse movie. People are going to be asking for him. Hasbro, it's a license to print money. Make it happen. Speaking of a license to print money, who out there wouldn't want to buy 2 different versions of Spider-Side? You know, one to keep in box, one to display. Of course you would. He's arguably the most important comic book character ever made. Don't believe me? Well, you shouldn't. He's universally disliked. But I love Spider-Side, and he was recently reintroduced to the 616 in a classic Ben Reilly flashback miniseries, which was the best comic book series of this year, I think, personally, just in my own opinion. Not just because it's Spider-Side, but just because it was a fantastic 5-issue miniseries. Regardless, Hasbro, come on! Give the people what they want. Give us Spider-Side. A Spidey villain who is so easy to do, it's amazing they ain't done him. And that is the Spot. Who doesn't love big, giant, chunky dinosaur men? You know who? No one. Because they're awesome, and that is why we need a Stegron. Back to the Spider-Man clone saga, we need to get ourselves a Stunner. It would be so easy to put her on the She-Hulk body. That would work perfectly. Maybe throw her into a 2-pack with a white suit Doc Ock. Mwah! Chef's kiss. Speaking of Doc Ock, it's high time we get ourselves a new Superior Spider-Man. The original one was just based on some rough concept art, looked nothing like the actual figure we wanted. Now, we've got the Iron Spider with his Waldos coming out the back. Chuck an extra one on there, give him the gauntlets and everything else. That would make for a badass Superior Spider-Man. An evil skeleton covered in bees. Of course, it's Swarm. This dude would be so much fun. It would take a lot of unique sculpting. That might be a little bit of a barrier to entry, but if they could do it, he would look so cool. We recently saw her in the MCU on Disney Plus She-Hulk, so why not give us a 616 version of Titania? Going way back into time, how about an original Human Torch? I mean, you can pretty much fudge the Fantastic Four's Human Torch in there, but why not give us the official one? You can pair him up with Captain America and Namor, the original Defenders. That would be wicked. Another character who people want like a new version of is Toxin. We have the really old Toxin, we got the big monster Toxin, who I do love as a figure. But the original Pat Mulligan looking version of the character had a really cool, sleek kind of design. Give it two different heads, one for like the closed mouth and one for the crazy symbiote one. That would be awesome, I'd love to see that. A classic street level criminal now, we need to get ourselves a Trapster, aka Paste Pot Pete. A fairly modern character now who it would be really fun to see in action figure form is the daughter of the Vision, Viv. You could pair her up with the young Nova and Ironheart, start building out that team. Maybe get Amadeus Cho Hulk as well. Yeah, that's a discussion for another time. In the meantime though, Viv Vision, it's easy for me to say, that would be fun to see. We got 3 for the price of 1 now with The Warriors 3. This would be a great addition to your Thor Asgardian type display. We had Lady Sif kind of rumored for a while because she was part of the fan vote set of 3. We had Silk and White Costume Elektra, both of whom have been made. So now I think it's the turn of Sif, and if we can get the other 2 as well, that would be great. Time for an Iron Man villain now with Whiplash. Whiplash, it's kind of bonkers. We haven't seen a Whiplash since like the old Iron Man 3 action figures, I think. Did we get one back then? I'm gonna double check. The fact I have to double check means he's well overdue. We had Hulkling earlier, so of course you can't have him all on his own. We got to pair him up with his partner Wiccan. The two of them, maybe in like a 2-pack. Again, I gotta stop encouraging 2-packs. But regardless of how they package him, having a new version of this character, that would be great to see. A classic old villain now, and one who you can put in your Fantastic Four display, team him up with maybe Sandman, Medusa. Who was the other one? I forget, but nonetheless, the leader of that group was the Wizard. We had Feral earlier, but now we need to get the other Wolfie X character, and that is, of course, Wolfsbane. There were a lot of people asking for various characters to round out their 90s X Factor team, so you could take your pick from characters like Random, Shard, is it Garrison Kane? Is that his name? There's a lot of characters out there. Me personally, I'd love to see Random. He's the one I'm mainly going for, and if rumors are to be believed, we might be seeing him soon. From the pages of early 2000s X-Men, we want a Zorn figure. This is a really interesting character. When I say interesting, confusing backstory, where they are a real character, but Magneto was impersonating him for a while, and he has a brother, which is Zorn backwards or something. I don't know. X-Men gets confusing. Life gets confusing, to be honest. It's not just X-Men. Regardless, he's a cool looking figure, so that would be great to see. A classic Avenger who needs a modern version made is Yellow Jacket. Henry Pym. This would be a great one because we had one from Toy Biz all those years ago who actually still looks kind of good, but definitely we need a modern, ideally maybe retro carded. Hey, we need a whole Avengers retro carded wave. Bring that on, and when you do, be sure to include Yellow Jacket. And finally, a classic old character. Because it's Halloween and the spooky season, why not give us the Marvel Zombie? It would be fun to get the entire Monsters 4-pack remade with Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, the zombie, and Werewolf by Night. Especially Werewolf by Night, since he's getting the kind of prominent spotlight at the moment. But of all those figures, the one I'd most personally like to see is the Marvel Zombie. So hey, if we keep asking for it, maybe it'll happen. And that does it for the list of the top 100 most wanted Marvel Legends of 2022. Guys on the Facebook page, thank you so much for all of your help and input with making this list. This was a kind of fan-voted list that was put together by all of your suggestions on the Facebook group. If you want to join in the discussion, then that's where you need to go. So gang, thank you so much for all of your input, and what are your top figures, most wanted Marvel Legends that you hope to see come out over the next year? Comment below, let me know. And if you like what you see and you want to see more, then you know what you gotta do. You gotta join the 6-1 Clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. Gang, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior. Viv Vision. So the android, is it an android or what do they call them? We'll go with android. Daughter of Synthezoid. That's what it is. A fairly modern character now who it would be really fun to see in action figure form is the daughter of the Vision, Viv. You could pair her up. Cup of coffee.